Good morning, children. I, Anu Dhariwal, welcome you all to the class. Children, as you know, we are discussing History, Chapter 2, titled From Trade to Territory, from your NCERT textbook, Our Past, 3rd. In the last chapter, or in the last session, children, we discussed about Aurangzeb, who was the last powerful Mughal ruler, and how East India Company came east and started their company. Now let us study how East India Company begins trade in Bengal. In 1651, the first English factory was set up on the banks of river Hooghly. So on the banks of river Hooghly, the English factory first was set up in 1651. And in Surat, the English factory was opened up in 1608. Aurangzeb issued a farman granting the company the right to trade duty-free. A farman, children, is a royal edict, or you can also call it a royal order. So when Aurangzeb issued the farman, he gave it to the company that they can trade duty-free. That means they don't have to pay any taxes. As trade expanded, the company persuaded merchants and traders to come and settle near the factory. By 1696, it began building a fort around the settlement. 2 years later, it bribed Mughal officials into giving the company zamindari rights over 3 villages. The company tried to press for more concessions and manipulate existing privileges. So there were many privileges, children, that the East India Company had to trade. But they were wanting more concession, and they wanted to manipulate the existing privileges. That means the rights that they were having to trade, they wanted to make changes in them. For trading purpose, the passes were issued to company officials, but they misused these passes for private trade and accumulate wealth on the name of company. So children, there were passes made for the company officials to trade, but there were many officials who misused these passes and they did private trading. That means personal trading that was not done from the company side. And they accumulated wealth on the name of the company. They were earning for themselves, hiding from the company. Soon, because of private trade, company suffered and went into losses. So due to these private trading companies, children, the East India Company went into losses. To cure this anomaly, British government made strict rules. So these changes that occurred, to cure them, the British government made strict rules. So 2 years later, children, when the Mughal officials were bribed into giving the company zamindari rights over 3 villages, one of these was Kalikata, which later grew into the city of Calcutta or Kolkata as it is known today. It also persuaded the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to issue a farman granting the company the right to trade duty-free, as I have told you earlier. Now, the company tried continuously to press for more concessions. But what happened? Aurangzeb's farman, for instance, had granted only the company the right to trade duty-free. This was one of the rights. But officials of the company who were carrying on private trade on the side were expected to pay duty. That means the trading business that was done other than the East India Company, private businesses will have to pay the tax. How did trade lead to battles? After the death of Aurangzeb, the Bengal Nawabs asserted their power and autonomy. Now when Aurangzeb died, children, the Nawabs of Bengal, they asserted they came into power and autonomy. When Aurangzeb died, Murshid Quli Khan was followed by Ali Vardi Khan and then Siraj-ud-Dawla as the Nawab of the Bengal. At last, Siraj-ud-Dawla became the Nawab of the Bengal. Each one of them was a strong ruler. They refused to grant the company concessions, demanded large tributes for the company's right to trade, denied it any right to mint coins, and stopped it from extending its fortifications. So children, all of them were strong rulers. They refused, they did not give the East India Company any concessions, and also they demanded large tributes. That means they have to pay large tributes for the company's right to trade. Because we were giving them the right to trade, so they wanted a large amount of tribute from the company. This East India Company was not given any right to mint coins, and also whatever forts they were making, they were asked to stop it at once. The Nawabs of Bengal refused to grant the company concession as it was making the revenue from Bengal trade less profitable. So why did they refuse to give them any concession? Because it was less profitable for Bengal. The British wanted the duties to be abolished, but Bengal Nawabs refused. British officials knew the condition of administration in Bengal and tried their autonomy by use of force. So what happened, children? Accusing the company of deceit, they claimed that the company was depriving the Bengal government of huge amounts of revenue. This East India Company was accused of denying or depriving Bengal government of huge amounts of revenue and undermining the authority of the Nawabs. They didn't care about the rule of the Nawabs. It was refusing to pay taxes. These Britishers, they were refusing to pay taxes. They were writing disrespectful letters and also were trying to humiliate the Nawab and his officials. So the company on its part declared that the unjust demands of the local officials were ruining the trade of the company, and trade could flourish only if the duties were removed. British officials, they wanted the duties to be removed because they were thinking that all these taxes and they are ruining the company, the trade of the company. It was also convinced that to expand trade, it had to enlarge its settlements, the fortification that they were doing. They were convinced that if they want to increase their trade, they have to enlarge their settlements. They had to buy up villages and rebuild their forts. That means they wanted permission for fortification also. Now due to this, children, the conflicts led to confrontations and finally culminated in the famous Battle of Plassey. So all of these misunderstandings, all of these conflicts, they led to many battles, one of which was the Battle of Plassey. In the next session, we will discuss Battle of Plassey. Till then, I would like to conclude today's session, children. Take care, stay home, stay safe. We'll see you in the next session. Till then, thank you.